Pope had to call, refer to as mother. She didn't measure herself by the kind of things that she had. So, by way of conclusion, let me just try and see if we can round up. By way of conclusion, what is the way forward? For us as Christians, we now have to speak about leadership. This is the only country where people get into power purely by accident, and I can run the numbers for you. If you take it mathematically, there's nothing. I'm not inventing anything. I'm not denigrating anybody. President Buhari had said, "I no want again." Okay? He said he didn't want to be president again. He was literally pulled out. He took over from President Jonathan. I believe President Jonathan was content being deputy governor or governor. Obasanjo went and said, "Come." And then he took over. It was with Yaradua. Yaradua had already received an application to Ahmadu Bello University to go and teach chemistry. They asked him, "No, come back and be president." All right, these are verifiable facts. Yaradua took over from President Obasanjo. Obasanjo was in prison in Yola. They went and brought him and said, "Come and be president." Okay. You can go through from the beginning to end. Now, Obasanjo took over from General Abdul Salam. General Abdul Salam's paper for retirement to be signed by Abacha were on the table of Abacha before Abacha died. Now, I'm not saying, whether you go back to Shagari or you go back to the military or whatever. Shagari said, "I want to be senator." He said, "No, come and be president." The point is that we cannot do the same things and expect a different outcome. Leadership is a pretty serious business. And this is why when the minister talks about inventing a new tribe, it's a very important point. If you look at other countries in the world, the most educated president in the whole world is, do you know who he is? It's Mugabe. Mugabe has 7 degrees that he worked for, 11 honorary degrees he had. Yeah. Yes, please, thank you. That's him there, and I think you should, where is, you see, these are the age brackets of African, this is what we have in Africa, okay? These are the ages. This is what we have in Africa, all right? Look at the generation. Now, so when Nigerians talk about the fact that the age to be president has gone up to, is it 30? No, what we should be concerned about is the age, is to bring down the age and agree, that somehow there is a correlation between the science of power. As you can see, Li Ping, for example, the president of China, got a PhD in chemistry. Angela Merkel got a PhD in quantum physics, quantum chemistry. Almost every, I'm saying these things don't happen by accident, but going forward, and by way of conclusion, what kind of manpower should we be generating? This is the only country where we think if anything has gone wrong, it's because of our president. If anything has gone wrong, it's because of, but leadership doesn't work like that. The Chinese, for example, every year produce 4.7 million engineering students. Okay, what they call STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. India has produced about 2.6. The United States of America, miserable 500 and something. But we have to begin to measure the kind of manpower that we must deploy into the system if our country is going to develop. There was a madman who saw a parade going on, because you ask yourself, what do people want to do with their lives? The madman saw the police, they were marching. Then he now started following them. So the man who was commanding the police, he looked at him. The man was following them. He said, "You want to join police?" The madman looked at him and said, "Are they crazy?" Let me end by finally, Nigerians, we've got every reason to be angry. But please let us remember, for the sake of this country, a lot of our citizens have given their lives to defend this country as soldiers. They have died and they are still dying. It is a reason why we must take very seriously the issue of building a new country together. That challenge is before all of us. And that is why our hearts may be broken, our bodies may be broken, we may be frustrated. But I leave you a very nice song. You know, Don Williams died this year. But one of the songs he sang, one of my favorite, I always sing the response. He said, some broken hearts never mend, some memories never end, some tears will never dry, my love for you will never die, our love for Nigeria will never die. This is our country, this is God's gift for us, this is God's gift for us. Obama told the Americans, remember, Obama said to the Americans, yes, we can, but because we are Nigerians and we won't go anywhere, we will stay here, we will work, we will redeem this country. Obama said to Americans, yes, we can. I said to Nigerians, yes, we must. No. For us, for the Americans, Obama said, yes, we can. For us in Nigeria, yes, we must. Because Ahmed Cesar said, a man from Martinique, a scholar from Martinique, who actually claimed to be an Igbo man, but he said, in the rendezvous of victory, there is room for each and every one of us. Let us pray, because that day is nearer to us than we ever imagined. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Welcome back to the Platform Studio, and we just listened to the last two speakers of today's edition of the Platform, the Honorable Minister for Trade, Industry and Investment, Dr. Oke Enelema, and Bishop Kukah. Amazing speakers. But let's start quickly. I know we don't have much time. Let's start from the minister, and he talked about a new tribe, building Nigeria, a new tribe, a new nation. What are your takeaways from that opinion?
Look, listening to the minister is always a life-changing experience. It's not the first time, but you hear him and he says the same thing, but you hear it again in a deeper way. Yes, building a new tribe, but he not only tells us what to do, he tells us also how to do it. Fix the man and they'll fix the country. All right, start with the end in mind, all right, and invert the conversation or the situation to get to the answer that you want. And there's the comfort that it won't take too long, that it can be done within a generation. I can go on and on, but the fundamentals of what he's saying are the fact that the issue is clear and the path to the solution also is clear. Yes. Unfortunately, or fortunately, we have the responsibility to do something about it.
And I like the analogy, which I don't think anybody should forget, the man and the map, and when he tore it and gave his son.
Absolutely.
And he fixed it back. Indy, what was your take on that?
There were two key takeaways. The first one was the importance of servant leadership, and the fact that he put himself out there, someone who said, I know I've been called to serve and I will do my best. And I think that's a reminder for all of us in positions of authority. You're there as a servant, do your best for the people. And then the second thing is what he talks about, the importance of creating an enabling environment. He says, if you can create an enabling environment, Nigerians will thrive. And it's our responsibility at the federal, state, and local levels to do that. And he gave critical examples of what they're doing. But I think the key thing is Nigerians will rise to the occasion because of the audacity of faith that we have.
Yes. Soji?
Yeah, I think indeed he just took it right out of my mouth in terms of the enabling environment. And truly, what I like about it was that it was a balanced speech where you hear your what, you know, as a citizen you should do, being a committed citizen, and then he's being on the side of government now, telling you, look, this is what the government is actually doing. Right, and it's not a quick fix. Like I said, you fix the man, then you fix the country. So it's really about creating, as he mentioned, the government is creating that enabling environment, you know, for people to thrive in. So.
Certainly. And that would just take us straight into Bishop Cookerism, because he was also about the people, the people, the people. I call him the intelligent comedian because he tells so many stories that make you laugh, but he's saying deep things within all of that. What should we take away from Bishop Cooker's presentation? Let me start from you, sir.
I think for Bishop Cooker, what I like is that he puts everything in perspective, of course, with a sense of humor to it. And the truth is that many of these things that he's saying, he says them in a story format, and many of us don't even, never knew this behind-the-scenes stories.
There's a lot of history.
And it just puts it in perspective, letting you know that, look, whatever you're going through now, you know, has probably always been there, number one, and you may not even be sure. You know, if you're fighting for the right cause, as in terms of, you know, someone spins the story and then you run with it, not knowing that, you know, the background was probably even an alternative factor to use that word in the sense. So but I like it, and it just tells us that, look, we should look deeper, think deeper, and understand that, look, regardless of whatever message is out there, Nigeria is for us, and like he said, yes, we must.
Yes, we must. Indeed, I know you've known Bishop Cooker for a long time.
Yes, no, I really enjoyed listening to him, and the two key takeaways for me was, one, we're at a tipping point. And this is a scary time, but it's also an optimistic time. The tipping point is really, are we going to go forward? Are we going to go into the terrible situation that we saw in Rwanda and other places? We have to determine where we go. And as a people, it requires that we take power as people. He talked about the importance of power and how power is transient, but that people have power, and that we have to realize that we have that ability to define our future. And then I love the optimism that he left us with, because in spite of all of that, he showed us pictures of our presidents across the continent and challenged us to realize that young people have to step up into leadership roles. That many of these people started as youth, but today they've been in those positions for far too long. Many of us younger people need to step up.
Yeah, and I like the fact that he painted the picture of the difference between power and office.
Yes.
So for people to realize that you might not have the office, but you have the power, and you can have the power and use it right.
Exactly.
Obinia.
Look, I thought that listening to Bishop Cooker, he actually gave a little bit more flesh to what the minister was talking about. If I was to take everything that Bishop Cooker said in one statement from the minister, it would be where he said, always do the right thing first. All right. If you just do the right thing all the time, it will make the difference at every single point in time. That leadership is serious business, and we have to challenge ourselves to do what we must do, when we must do it, how we must do it, and be prepared for that responsibility. And all of this is about personal accountability and responsibility for the outcomes.
Fantastic. We can continue this conversation on and on and on, but now we have come to the end of the platform for this edition, October 2017. And I'll finish with something that the Honorable Minister said. He said, we do not reap when we sow. We do not reap where we sow, but we always reap what we sow. And so therefore, what we reap from Nigeria is what we sow into Nigeria. What are you sowing into Nigeria? Bishop Cooker said, you know what? We love this country. No matter where we go, Nigeria is ours and we love it. Yes, we can, but most importantly, yes, we must. Thank you so much for watching the platform today. We've listened. It is time to do. It is time to act. It is time to love one another. From Covenant Christian Center, from the platform Nigeria, God bless you.